Hey guys, my name's Aaron. Welcome back. This is Czar Finance, episode 6, choosing a bank account. So what does it mean when you choose a bank account? What I'm saying is you need to find one that's local near you, or if you're traveling a lot, you might want to find a national recognized bank. That could be anywhere from California all the way to New York or Connecticut or Maine or wherever you might be located. Here are some things to consider when choosing a bank account to set up. Number one, you want to look out to make sure that it's federally insured, up to $250,000. What that means is if you take your money and you put it in a bank, and the bank, however, seems to go bankrupt or goes out of business for whatever reason, you will be federally insured. Up to $250,000 of your money will be refunded back to you by the U.S. government. Now, if you have more than $250,000, you should split it up into two banks. If you have more than that, you might want to find another bank that has a federally insured bank up to $500,000 or $1 million or whatever your circumstances are. But main thing is you want to make sure it's federally insured up to $250,000. Okay, secondly, you want to look out for monthly fees. Is there any monthly fee that you might have at the bank account just to maintain your money at that account sitting there? So if I have $500, is that going to be charging me, are they going to charge me $3 every single month just to have that money sit there? Or $5 or a certain percentage? Things to consider when looking at keeping your money at a bank. So watch out for the monthly fees that they might tack onto that. Try to find one that does not have a monthly fee. Liquidity. Liquidity means how easily accessible is it to take your money out from the bank. So if you walk up to any one of those banks that you might have put your money into, how easily or how liquid is it to take your money out? Can you go up to the teller and say, I want $500,000 right now, and she'll write out the money and give you a check or get all the cash ready for you so you can take it right out of the bank that day. That's what I mean by when I talk about liquidity. Some banks only allow you to take up to $1,500 or $1,000. Some places have more money in their bank, so they can take all the, they have, say, $500,000 on hold at the bank all the time, so you can take all your money out. So some of the things to consider about is how easily is it to take your money out should things go wrong, or you need the money right now, or you want to, leave or do something like that. So something to consider. Interest rates. So when you set up a bank account, okay, at your local bank or a national bank brand, you want to set up a checking account and a savings account. Okay, there's two different things. A checking account is acting as if it's like sort of your play money, if you not play money, but your money where you can withdraw out easily. And then you have a savings account where you will be saving and building wealth there. Okay, so your checking account is used for withdrawal and transactions. Your savings account is where you're going to start to build wealth. And should you need extra money in your checking account, you can take some from your savings and transfer it to checking, and then take it from there to spend on other items. But the main idea for the savings is to build that. But when I'm talking about interest rates, when your money is in your savings account, you want to find out a good bank that has a good high interest rate. Now, most interest rates today are very, very low, but who knows, in the future it might change, and you never know. Different banks offer different interest rates on your money just sitting there. So if you can find one that has a high interest rate, I recommend you finding one that does, and that way you'll get a little bit more money for the money that's sitting in your bank account. Anyway, every month you'll get a $1 or $2 or $5 extra added to your savings account, which is a pretty big deal considering when you're trying to save. All right. Minimum balance requirements. I think I tacked onto that a little earlier before when I say minimum balances. Some bank accounts actually charge you a fee if you don't maintain a minimum balance in your checking account. Some say that you have to have $500 in that account, well, otherwise they're going to charge you $35 or $50 just because you don't maintain that balance. So I want you to make sure you find a bank that does not charge you a minimum balance for that, because should you happen to do a radical charge on something, or you happen to buy a car or something that went over an electrical bill or whatever, that you don't get penalized on top of that. That's how banks earn their fees and get their money for you. So try to find one that does not have induced charges for having a minimum balance. ATM access. Does your bank have ATM access? Can you go from here in Connecticut to, say, California and use your ATM card? I don't know. Some banks allow you to do so. Some banks say, oh, we're going to charge you a fee of $3 to $5 to even maybe at the casino $8 a fee just to use your ATM debit card at that transaction. It's called a transaction fee to use to do that. So I want you to make sure that there's 0 ATM fees if you can. That fluctuates with different banks, but try to look for one that does not have any ATM fees. Is your bank online, or does it have mobile access? These are other things now that we have all these smartphones with us today. You want to make sure that your bank is easily accessible online. So if you can't happen to go to your local bank because of a snowstorm or some kind of freak weather accident or whatever, or they closed, or construction or whatever, can you still make a transaction with your phone, or can you go onto a computer and transfer funds around online? So those are some considerations to think about. Some banks have them, some banks don't. Some are better than others, some are not. Some have the ability to have apps that go on your smartphone where you can take a picture of your check and have that automatically deposited into your account. Some banks are strictly online. I think Ally Bank is one of the banks that is strictly 100% online. There's no local branches anywhere. So if you have to take money out and there's right away, you might have to, and there's no internet access, you might be catching yourself in a pinch there to try to withdraw money, or wait a couple of days for them to send you a check, so that way later on you can deposit it into a bank account that will transfer the funds, etc. So some things to consider when choosing a bank account. My biggest advice to you guys is to make sure you set up one as soon as possible. Get yourself a checking account and a savings account, and we're going to go into those a little bit later in more detail as far as how to navigate the waters of an ATM debit card and a checking account, and also how to navigate waters for the savings account. There's a couple little differences in there, but the main thing is set up a checking account, set up a savings account, start saving today, and then next week we're going to talk about how to bring income in so that way you can start growing your savings account. Okay, we're going to try to help you make some money, and we got to increase your income so we can start saving, so that way in the future you can retire a millionaire. My name's Aaron, and thank you for joining Czar Finance.